If you're looking for a great recipe for your next Neapolitan pizza, you're on the right video. Hi, I'm Sergio. I'm a professional pizza trainer from Italy based in France. And in this video, I'll share with you my recipe for Neapolitan pizza. This is the recipe that I use in majority of my trainings. Make sure you watch the video till the end because I'm going to share with you several tips on how to better realize a Neapolitan pizza recipe. Let me show you first the characteristics of this recipe. This is a recipe for the contemporary version of Neapolitan pizza, using a type 00 flour with a W index of around 300, 70% hydration, 2.5% of salt and 0.25% of fresh yeast for a total fermentation of 48 hours. The overall fermentation is split equally between bulk fermentation and final proofing. Both of those two fermentations are made in the fridge. However, there are some resting times that are done at room temperature, and I'll share that with you during the video. It's now time to go to the lab. The first step of the recipe is of course kneading. The flour is already in the mixer. I add then the fresh yeast and some water. For this kind of recipe, it's important to add a first part of the total water right now at the beginning of kneading, and the rest will be added in the second part of kneading after the salt. In this first part of kneading, the objective is simple: create the gluten structure that will be able to absorb the rest of the water in the second part. I'm using here the first speed of my spiral mixer of around 100 rounds per minute. As the kneading advances, you see the dough becoming more compact and, above all, increasing its elasticity thanks to the energy given by the mixer. The total kneading time can vary according to the spiral mixer, your flour and the total hydration. In general, we are between 12 and 17 minutes. After 6 minutes, I add the salt and a little bit of water, and then I change the mixer speed to the second speed of around 200 rounds per minute. In this second part of kneading, I need to add the water slowly and progressively to get to the final hydration of 70%. Once I finish the remaining water, I can stop the kneading and check for the dough temperature and the gluten elasticity. 26 degrees, so all good temperature wise, and the gluten is well formed as well. As you can see, the dough is elastic, doesn't break easily, and it forms like a smooth veil. I will now transfer the dough into my container, which was previously oiled. Then I will do some folding directly into the dough container to form an homogeneous dough. After the folding, the bulk fermentation starts. In this recipe, as I'm doing a cold fermentation, I will leave the dough for 30 minutes to 2 hours at room temperature before going to the fridge. The length of this resting time at room temperature will depend essentially on the temperatures that you have available and the size of the dough. 24 hours later in the fridge, that's how the dough looks like. And I can now proceed to the shaping of my dough balls directly on the work surface. The size of the dough ball that I'm using here is 250 grams, as the final pizza will have a diameter of 30 centimeters. You can of course increase the size of your dough ball in order to make a bigger pizza. Be careful that if you increase unnecessarily your dough ball size for a given pizza size, you will lose lightness of your final result. Once the dough balls are prepared, I give them a little bit more tension by rolling them on the work surface, and then I will pinch the bottom to ensure that no holes are left. The bottom then goes into the semolina and straight into the dough ball container. As per the bulk fermentation, the dough balls will rest for 30 minutes to 2 hours at room temperature, and then they will go into the fridge for 18 to 24 hours. The next day, that's how the dough balls look like. Their fermentation is completed, and after about 1 hour at room temperature, I'm ready to stretch the dough. Remember, we cannot stretch a cold dough when using a direct method for Neapolitan pizza. Let's go now with the stretching. I first remove the dough from the dough container using some semolina, and then I start the stretching directly in the semolina. I simply press evenly on the dough surface and I push the air, or rather the carbon dioxide, into the crust. The fact that my dough is able to retain this carbon dioxide, it's a sign of excellent elasticity. The second movement I'll do, it's directly on my knuckles. By rotating the dough on my knuckles, I'll let the gravity stretch homogeneously my dough. Time to do the toppings. As a Neapolitan, I have to show you how to make an authentic and incredible Margherita. First ingredient is the tomato sauce. The variety of peeled tomato used here is the San Marzano. After the tomato sauce, I will add the pecorino cheese, a bit of basil, and the mozzarella fior di latte. Next, the pizza will go on my peel and then into the oven for about 90 to 100 seconds at around 450 degrees. This is my contemporary Neapolitan pizza with a direct dough and 48 hours fermentation. The crust, as you can see, is well developed, showing that nice leopard effect with all those black spots that are sign of a good fermentation and a perfect temperature in the oven. The middle is nice and thin, as it should be for a Neapolitan pizza. The crumb, as you can see here, it's light, open, and not very dense. We've come to the end of this video. If you wish to improve your knowledge and skills in mastering Neapolitan pizza dough, I'll leave you the link to my pizza training here in the description. You will find several other Neapolitan pizza recipes, and in this training, you will acquire a methodology to achieve quality, consistency, and regularity. I'm Sergio, a professional pizza trainer, and thanks for watching. Ciao e buona pizza!